Hello, welcome to another episode of BuzzNpeak. I'm your host Buzz, and in this episode we're gonna criticize Sky News and also Albanese government and him himself as well. I'm gonna do a lot of criticizing. Before we begin, I just want to let you know that people who didn't watch me before, I'm coming from counter-terrorism, security and intelligence background, and my education field was on criminology field. Also, I also study law as well now, so I think I will put some valuable comments and criticizing the things that I find really fucking weird. Anyways, let's begin and watch this video. As we go, I'm gonna put my comments on the topic and what I think the issue is in Australia and how I view the news, I guess.
Before we get into the specifics of the assumed Islamic terror attack in New Orleans, I want to first look at our
For those who don't know, the New Orleans attack happened like I think 1 week ago, and something like that I think. And yeah, I think it was U.S. Army veteran who literally like ran over people with his truck and killing like 14 people. And there was also one more attack in US, which was a Tesla truck exploding front of Trump Towers. Apparently, the guy killed himself before he exploded the truck. Anyways, let's skip watch the video.
Prime Minister's response, because make no mistake, what we saw in the United States overnight is a problem we need to deal with here in Australia.
Sure.
Convert to Islam drove a pickup truck displaying a black ISIS flag at high speed through a crowd of pedestrians on New Year's Day. Before being killed in a shootout with police, he injured two of them before they ended his life.
Okay, what is this? I don't know about this one.
That led this man to murder 15 innocents and injure dozens more in last night's terror attack is present and growing here. Seems stubbornly determined to do exactly nothing about it. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese tweeted this morning, quote, "All Australians are appalled by the attack in New Orleans, a shocking act of violence aimed at people celebrating the new year together. Our first thoughts in the moment are with the victims and their loved ones. Our nation stands with the people of the United States." Now, in just 47 words, the Prime Minister makes at least 5 fatal mistakes. First, did you notice Albanese calls what happened in New Orleans an attack, but fails to specify what kind of attack it was? Well, since Anthony Albanese seems to have trouble getting his mouth around the word.
That's true, because not every fucking attack is terrorist attack, okay? There's some people who's mentally fucked, and then they like had enough, and then they go on killing rampage. Especially when they're like fucked mentally, and if they don't get any support, most of the time it's because of man's that doing those acts. And you can't tell every nutcase a terrorist attack. You need to look at the person's background. They're linked with any like ideology, like that's like extremist ideology, right?
Let me help.
And you can't even like call every attack terrorist attack. Like you need to look at the person's whole, what they were connections, what they were like getting idolized on.
It was an Islamic terror attack. The FBI have indicated it was inspired by ISIS. So why can't the Prime?
I don't know. I would argue if it's really ISIS, because apparently the guy was in US military. And how come from someone from US military turning to ISIS? It's more to me. It's more of a nutcase. You like went fucking crazy and then start killing people because some shit happened in his life for sure.
I guess Islamic terror attack must be difficult to say when you're busy importing more than 2,000 followers of Islam from the highly radicalized Gaza Strip. I imagine it's...
Get fucked, man. I don't know who the fuck are you, but do you know the highest fucking terrorist attack that happened in Australia or New Zealand, or we can say both countries, it was from the extremist white supremacy, okay? I don't think you remember the fucking New Zealand terrorist attack that killed like what? Over 50 people in New Zealand? So why no one's talking about this fucking extremist people in Australia and New Zealand? You know, if you even look at the fucking list of terrorist incidents in Australia, we can say Australia and New Zealand is literally like two countries, but like I would say like they're like merged into one. But they don't even have fucking like that attack in Australia's Wikipedia page as a terrorist attack. Like they even have like some Christian terrorist organization, Australian fundamentalists killing people here before, but no one talks about white supremacy. Do you know how many fucking extremist white supremacy in Australia and New Zealand there are? There are a lot of fucking groups, and you're just saying that people who coming from Gaza is literally terrorists. No, if you look at who's terrorist, it's actually Israel is terrorist. They invaded Gaza, they invaded Lebanon, they invaded Iran, they invaded Syria now. How many countries is that? They like killed over fucking 40,000 people. Actually, that's terrorist attack. We call that a terrorist attack.
It's even more difficult to say when you're trying desperately to shore up votes from followers of Islam in Western Sydney.
Well, that's normal Albanese for you, like these fucking politicians. That's why no one likes politicians, right? That's why everyone says fuck politicians for a reason. Because those they're like literally dictatorship. They get people, immigrants from overseas, and they try to get their vote to stay in power. You call that literally the dictatorship instead of political system, I would argue, actually.
Sydney. Well, if Anthony Albanese can't even name the threat, do you really trust him to keep you safe from it? Second, did you notice the PM referred to the...
And why are you so obsessed with fucking 2,000 people? Let's say they get 2,000 people from, what, Gaza, you said? You know there was like, what, 800,000 people from India who immigrated to Australia? I'm not even fucking like including the Asian people who came here as a student and then getting their permit, etc. Like, it's actually really horrible that you literally like undermining 2,000 people. Let's say, if you, I don't know the exact amount of number. But,
quote, a shocking act of violence.
It is, I would say, it's shocking act of violence. It's hard to link that to terrorism, especially if that person fucking worked in the military. There's definitely something wrong with his mental health, and that's why he went that path. Because most not the cases, they're like solo like soldiers, like solo. They think like they go mental and then they like blow themselves up or whatever fuck they do, like terrorist attack before kill themselves.
Well, sorry, Mr. Albanese, but you must be the only person in the world who thinks Islamic terror attacks in Western countries are shocking. It's not shocking.
Well, it's not shocking. 51 person fucking died in New Zealand as well. Okay? You're not mentioning that extremist white supremacy here in Australia and New Zealand as well.
Entirely predictable. We've been here many, many times before. In fact, Islamic terror attacks at Christmas are now about as Christmassy as Christmas markets. We've been here many times, so many times that for you to be shocked...
It's much more shocking 51 people dying in mosque attack compared to this one other case going and killing people. That's actually a terrorist attack. Imagine killing 51 person for no reason. Like, if you look at killing how many people died as a result, 51 is huge compared to 2 or 3 that Australian had compared to his history from terrorist attacks.
Well, that's the most shocking part about it. Third, the Prime Minister says all Australians are appalled by the attack. Well, that's a lie. We know it's a lie. It's a dangerous lie. Every weekend in this country, we have people...
My man, why are you not talking about white supremacy? Like, what do you have? Do you really have problem with Muslims? Sure, there's like ISIS for sure. There's in Middle Eastern especially. People like, there's hardcore extremists in Middle Eastern. They like do a lot of extremist stuff if they don't like your political view of the stuff, and they go killing people for sure. But he's not mentioning extremists like Christians as well. He's not mentioning extremist white supremacists as well. He just like focus on fucking Muslims.
People calling for a global.
I think you know why he's focused on a lot of Muslims, because of I think U.S. terrorist attack on the towers before 9/11. I think it was killed like 2,000 people, and I think after that there was like 500,000 people died as a result of some fucking extremist group action in Iraq. I think Iraq it was as a result, and those were innocent people as well. And the ratio, look at the ratio, it's bullshit actually.
Global intifada. We have some Islamic preachers in Western Sydney calling for jihad against Jews and infidels, and the Albanese government has done nothing about it. How can the
People are fucking angry, okay? Over 40,000 people died in Gaza for no reason. Sure, I would definitely call Hamas terrorist attack on the people that were partying on Israel. That was terrorist attack 100%, but you can't justify killing fucking 40,000 people when they kill what, 1,000 people, and like living up whole fucking country for those fuckers is like bullshit, man. That's actually real terrorism.
the Prime Minister say all Australians are appalled at Islamic terror?
And yeah, people are really angry, for sure, for Israel, Jews, currently. That's because of extremist fucking government in Israel and their defense forces terrorists.
Attacks. There was a terror attack on October 7 last year that killed 1,200 people. And this guy, an Islamic leader from Sydney, was, in his own words, not appalled. He was elated.
Man, I think you're fucked. I don't know who the fuck are you, but I think you're fucked, man. Do you know how many people they killed in fucking Gaza before even they killing 1,100 person? They've been killing people there for decades, man. And you don't even mention them. Western media, they never fucking mention people who's dying there. But they mention 1,200 people dying first, instead of the cruelties that Israel doing to those people for like decades, okay?
Thoughts are with the first. People celebrate Prime Minister. The Islamic terror, they find them, whenever they find them. And New Year's Day was just a really convenient way of finding a lot of Jews and infidels crowded together all at once to be killed. Fifth and finally, the PM's assurances that our thoughts are with the victims is cold comfort for those of us he is responsible to protect. Instead of offering thoughts for American victims, how about the Prime Minister actually does something to stop similar things happening here? Every time there's an Islamic terror attack, we get the same routine.
Come on, man, fuck off. Still fuck off. Like, you're saying same shit. Islamist terrorist attack here in Australia and fucking New Zealand. But you're not even considering 52 people that died in Christchurch in New Zealand. What was that? That was like fucking guy decided to go and kill everyone. That was a real terrorist attack.
From Western leaders, it's exhausting. Thoughts and prayers. We stand in solidarity, and the obligatory diversity is our strength, which might be true if we were talking about cuisine, but it's definitely not true when talking about a policy we never agreed to and that governments refuse to seriously discuss, importing people with belief systems entirely at odds with our own. In the early hours of New Year's Day...
Then fucking ban everyone. Why also have immigrants? Fucking ban everyone. You know, it's in the last I've been living here in the last 17 years, okay? I've never seen how fucked was the country until this year, okay? There was literally fucking 5 or 6 person was literally fucking sleeping outside of gym in their cars. Okay, then fucking ban everyone. Ban every immigrant.
Muslim convert Sham...
Instead of fucking just like focus on the Muslims, ban everyone.
Din Jabbar drove his truck at high speed through a pedestrian area of New Orleans with clear intent to kill as many Americans as possible.
I think he's psychological fucked for sure, that guy. Because he was in defense force, right? He probably maybe experienced some really fucked up stuff and that destroyed him mentally, and he didn't get any help, and then as a result that happened. Because usually terrorists they don't like negotiate, they kill instantly. There's no negotiation with terrorism. And I don't know if you need to look at this guy's background fully, but it's like weird that he came from US military background and then going into ISIS, like I did taking their ideology and then start killing people. That's like, you go between terrorism and nutcase. So you can't call it terrorist or you can't call it nutcase. Like there is something, you need to look at his background fully.
US lame duck Joe Biden told Americans earlier today what had happened.
The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill, The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack.
Anyone can do ISIS flag in 5 minutes, okay, if they search online, Google. I can fucking make this with like literally drawing, okay, and call it ISIS.
Possible explosives were found in the vehicle as well, and more explosives were found nearby.
Okay, so a Muslim convert posts videos online saying he was inspired by ISIS to kill people before going out and doing just that. Seems pretty clear to me what happened. But not to Joe Biden, and apparently not to the FBI.
The FBI is leading the investigation to determine what happened, why it happened, whether there was any continuing threat to public safety.
I'll tell you why it's happened from my from my side. I think, like I said before, it's really weird. Someone coming from fucking defense force and then going into like killing people. There's definitely some like affected mentally, 100%.
So Joe Biden tells us what happened and why it happened, only to say in the very next breath that the FBI needed to figure out what happened and why it happened. Well, it's called Islamic terrorism. But even when the Islamic terror...
Okay. Called Islamic terrorism. What is this called, man? What is this called?
Terrorists themselves tell us they're inspired by Islam, we don't believe them. The media were quick to jump on the fact that the terrorist was born in America and had served in the military, that he was in financial trouble, that he'd been divorced a couple of times. And how many...
Oh, if you even add those, I will fucking doubt this terrorist attack, man. Even if you add those, I'll doubt this terrorist attack.
Broke vets with marriage problems go mowing civilians down in SUVs. Can we please talk about an ideology that is producing extremists?
Okay, let's talk about white supremacy then. You know, one attack of white supremacy killed, what, 25 times more people compared to the ISIS attack in Australia and New Zealand?
CNN didn't want to talk about ideology. They wanted to talk about the security.
Because fucking they're all Western media, okay? They always suppressed news when it comes to like terrorist attacks or something like that. Always try to like go side with government.
Security barriers that the Islamic jihadist was able to drive around.
We have these hydraulic steel barriers from past events. Those barricades were not up, period. They had the flimsy orange ones that you could just push over with your finger.
Look, I'm really sorry, but the problem
is that if it's that your real fucking honest news, then my thoughts are 100% on point as well, okay?
The problem is not a lack of barricades. That we have to have barricades in the first place, that's the problem.
Yes, you need to have barricades on large gatherings, that's for sure.
Western countries never used to need barricades, or as I call them, diverse...
You always need barricades. It doesn't matter if it's Western countries. Even in, I would argue even in back in like old days, you needed barricades for someone going nuts and start killing people with vehicles or some type of like weapon.
bollards.
You need to ban fucking like anything that people can use as a weapon in large gatherings.
Now they're everywhere. If diversity is our strength, how come we need bollards?
How come we need fucking 51 people die for no reason in mosque while they were praying?
Shame on our governments for allowing us
Yeah, shame on fucking Australia and New Zealand government. They're dog shit.
a situation where citizens now need bollards everywhere to protect us from being mowed down in our own shopping malls by Islamic extremists.
Yeah, and you never know that you're gonna get killed by fucking white supremacy here in Australia or New Zealand as well.
Maybe if we weren't importing an ideology that hates the West, we wouldn't
And white supremacy, they hate immigrants, they hate someone who's not white.
need
And you're not mentioning that.
bollards. When I see public places protected by bollards, I'm not grateful, I'm furious. They're a reminder that we are now unsafe in our own backyards thanks to dangerously...
Yes, there's a lot of people unsafe from white supremacy as well. You're not mentioning that. You're just like fucking stuck in ISIS. Like you need to fucking go live in Middle Eastern, man. Like you need to understand how Middle Eastern works.
Politicians.
Like you're going really hardcore on ISIS and Islamist extremists, but you have fucking zero mentioning about Christian extremists, fucking white supremacy extremists.
And a censorious media class. It was telling that the first instinct of the FBI after last night's terror attack was to insist that it wasn't a terrorist attack. Have a listen to FBI Special Agent Ali.
Yes, fucking think. You said it. Like, guy had fucking multiple divorces. He worked in fucking defense force. Those things, it will fucking destroy any guy, okay? Like, losing your job. You might find another job, but defense force, especially if you worked in, like, really, like, if you went to operation and stuff and saw a lot of, I don't know, if you deployed in Iraq, for example, and you saw dead people and you had to kill people, etc., etc., those will mentally fuck any person, okay? Regardless if it's man or woman. And you're not even adding his divorces in that as well. So there's literally like thing mentally hard, something going on with him for sure.
Alethea Duncan.
And it's usually
Briefing the
really it's usually because they put one flag or they write that I'm gonna fucking commit this as a terrorist attack and I support ISIS and then do those stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's terrorist attack.
American public 3 hours after the attack.
We'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now.
To me, it doesn't seem terrorist attack to me, because you need, like I said, you need to look at person whole background, and it's really hard to argue that it was full on terrorist attack compared to his divorces and his service in the military.
Is there improvised explosive devices that was found?
Anyone can make explosive devices. If you watch Google, if you type how to make explosive device, you'll find tons of videos, and you can find most of the stuff at shopping centers, etc. If you have that type of idea of exploiting something, you can make it happen.
An ISIS flag is found in the truck of the attacker.
That doesn't mean he's extremist.
And the FBI spokesmoron says it's not a terrorist event.
Yes. Fucking hell, man. What is this, like, fucking zero brain talking he's just doing? If I literally grab fucking knife and get like some white supremacy flag and I put it on my vehicle and said, fuck it, I'm gonna go kill every black person, and I start doing that, you're gonna call that white supremacy attack, or you're gonna call that not a case?
Did the truck with the ISIS flag just go rogue? No, it wasn't a terror attack. It was just a Ford pickup that suddenly went full jihad mode, all on its own.
Yes, because he's mentally fucked. Can you understand?
Maybe if the FBI weren't still busy hosting DEI seminars, raiding Trump's home, spying on churchgoers and investigating American citizens for walking through the Capitol building on January 6, 4 years ago, they might have had eyes on Shamsud Dinjabbar. Then again, the FBI were under instructions from Joe Biden to look out for anything other than Islamic terrorists.
The most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
Well, he knows it, okay? I think you need to recognize white supremacy as well. Like, you're literally talking BS. He knows what he's talking about, at least.
That a US president sprouts this kind of rubbish as the bodies from Islamic
Fuck off, man. Get fucked.
pile up is unforgivable. Let me show you something else that's unforgivable. This is 6th Avenue in New York City, just hours after the New Orleans terror attack.
So what? You're gonna fucking connect this to terrorism as well now? You know, there's like more than 40,000 people died in Gaza for terrorist Israel government and their defense force.
So within hours of 15 Americans being slaughtered by an Islamist with an ISIS flag, hundreds of pro-Palestinians were marching through the streets of New York calling for a global intifada. These people have zero shame. If they aren't citizens...
So, how come US president, Australian president, British president, they're not shaming fucking supporting Israel and their genocide? They killed more than 40,000 people, man. So who's supporting terrorism? Israel government is committed terrorism, literally, in Middle East and around those places, and there's no mention about that.
They should be.
They're literally making people's fucking starve. I saw a video that was people that were literally like try to cook fucking grass with water to make food there for their kids, and you fucking sitting there just keep bullshitting about ISIS and fucking some all other bullshit. Fuck, you need to look at white supremacy. They're the main problem in Australia and New Zealand, okay?
Perverse upside down world only ends when we stop importing people that hate us.
Okay, let's ban all fucking immigration. That includes everyone, okay? Because there's a lot of people that sleeps outside in streets now in Australia, and the government doesn't give a shit about them for sure, and they keep like importing people because they're like I said before, they're authoritarian government, so they try to import people and try to get their word so they can be on the power, like they get elected again. That's what they're doing. Like, if you have a little bit of brain, that's their tactic.
And deport those already here who reject our values in favour of a backward culture of terrorism and death.
That includes white supremacy, I guess. But I think you don't even fucking mention white supremacy. Yeah, you don't give a fuck, I'm guessing.
Meanwhile, we need leadership that possesses the moral clarity to do at least 4 things. First, reject cultural relativism.
Ban every fucking immigration to Australia and focus on the citizens first. There's people, like I said, they're sleeping on streets. And it was worst since fucking last 15 years I've seen. Okay, it's really bad.
Objective truth does exist, and the truth is the Judeo-Christian West produces outcomes and freedoms that are superior to any other worldview. If anyone disputes that, ask them why they live here rather than in Afghanistan. Second,
zero brain movement again from you, man. Why they don't leave it there? Because they don't have political stability and they don't have stable government. They don't have security. They don't know what's gonna happen in the next minute, okay? It's nothing to do with fucking cultural bullshit.
shape our immigration program to reflect the fact that not all cultures are equal. Only bring people here who support our worldview. And get rid of...
I'm not supporting fuck extremists, okay? Fuck every extremist. Doesn't matter if it's Christian extremist, doesn't matter if it's Islamist extremist, doesn't matter if it's white supremacist extremist.
non-citizens who undermine our values. Third, stop apologising for Aussie culture and stop undermining all our unifying symbols, the flag, the anthem, Australia Day, our British heritage. Greens leader Adam Bant won't even stand in front of an Australian flag. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese won't stand in front of only the Australian flag. Both men are undermining our nation and...
Because they're fucking politicians, like I said, they try to get the votes. Like, they want to stay on top every time. That's why they have implementing a lot of immigrants from overseas so they can get their votes for free. That's what usually authoritarian, smart kind of businessmen do. They don't give a fuck about Australians for sure. That's 100%.
Putting all of us in danger. And fourth, stop pretending there's no problem with Islamic extremism.
And you stop pretending like there's no problem with white fucking supremacy in Australia and New Zealand. 25 times more deaths compared to fucking what Islamist jihadists or extremists did here in Australia and New Zealand. And of course there is ones that intelligence agencies and federal police and etc. they are like preventing for sure. But white supremacy damaged more people here in Australia compared to ISIS ideological people.
If we can't even have a discussion about why this particular ideology has so often inspired violence around the globe, then we are...
Fuck me, because you guys created the extremists, man. Like, how many fucking countries that did US invade in world? If they kill 500,000 people for killing 2,000 people in 9/11 attacks, if you kill someone's uncle, someone's dad, someone's fucking mom or something, that person when he grow up, he's gonna become terrorist. He's not gonna become good citizen. He's gonna try to get revenge, and that's like basic human thing. Like, they will try to get revenge of their relatives.
Are not serious people. And right now we're led by a government that is neither moral nor courageous nor serious. Not a serious person.
Yeah, I agree. I think Labour is definitely fucked. We saw how fucked they were in COVID times. They literally like stopped people's freedom of movement, freedom of choice. They denied those things. They even like put fucking, you need to get jab if you want to keep your job bullshit, which was against, I would say, freedom of choice. And they like force people. People haven't forgotten that bullshit. Okay, there's a lot of anger towards that. That's why some of the Labour leaders they resigned, because they know people, they were fucking angry for what they done. And we saw what Labour fucking did in UK anyway. Look at UK, it's fucked.
Person in its ranks. And that leaves all of us, like those pedestrians in New Orleans, dangerously exposed. You know the thing that really ticks me off? It doesn't need to be this way. When you're out and about this week and you see one of those diversity bollards that authorities have generously installed to protect you and your family from their immoral policies, remember, it doesn't have to be this way, and it's only this way because we've put up with it.
That's bullshit, man. You're just talking. You just talk like a lot of BS, not mentioning the points, the reality of the points. Zero mention of white supremacy. You just focus on ISIS, and ISIS ideology is like, I think you're living in some different country, man. Anyways, this was the end of BuzzNpeak episode. I did criticize Labour government and this Sky News host. Just talking a lot of BS, man.